hugest tornado I've ever seen in my life.
Oh gosh, that is a monster tornado.
I'm just lucky I didn't die.
Look at that. That is destroyed.
We're still here. Really glad.
We prayed to God that we wouldn't get hit. 2 seconds later, the whole house is gone.
A tornado rips through Joplin, Missouri, cutting a town of 50,000 residents in half. A deadly, deadly tornado. In fact, 116 people died in yesterday's tornado. The National Weather Service says it is an EF4 tornado with winds going up to 198 miles per hour. It was 3/4 of a mile long, and it stayed on the ground for almost 6 miles. Joplin, Missouri is heartbroken tonight. The search and rescue continues for people who are missing. 500 residents were injured. In fact, just today, a person was rescued from the Home Depot. That person had been buried underneath debris. Search and rescue crews walk through neighborhoods. They have gone house to house. Some 2,000 homes have been messed up by yesterday's tornado. This is the mark that they put on vehicles, on structures, on homes, telling you there's no one inside this vehicle. But take a look at this. Yesterday, this vehicle was upright. Someone was driving it. Today, tossed aside like a toy. We are right in front of St. John's Hospital. It is a 9-story building. There were 100 patients inside when the tornado struck. It took about 90 minutes to get all those patients out. But look what the wind did. It tossed this wheelchair, just tossed it like a toy. And there's even just little packages of bandages that are on top of it. Just strange occurrences that happened throughout yesterday's tornado. The tornado came, the sirens roared, people heard it, and they took cover. And tonight, a little later, I'm going to tell you about a couple who hid in their bathtub because they didn't have a basement when the tornado ripped through. But first, let's go to Cliff Judy. Cliff, you have been out and about last night, in through this morning, and tonight.
And Laura, you can look anywhere to see just the severe damage that we have here. Basically, you can look at some of these damaged cars, but you can also look at something as simple as a branch. Down here we have stripped bark off of this branch. An EF1, an EF2, an EF3 will not cause this. You have to have winds that are at least as strong as an EF4 tornado. Now, it's no surprise that people were hurt in this when you look at this damage, but 116 confirmed dead so far. That was a difficult number to hear today. We followed search and rescue crews as they went to a house that was about as worrisome, but also about as typical of a search as you will see in this city today. Search and rescue crews worked in Joplin Monday with one goal: complete the phrase. For while they dug through planks and boards that didn't seem to end, search was guaranteed, rescue was not.
Oh hell, it's horrible. I'm 34 years old. I've been this guy's friend since I was 15.
Friends say no one's heard from any of the 3 people who live at this home at 26th and Pitcher. While crews found 2 dogs in the basement alive, they also found the basement corner where one man slept, crushed by a car.
It's just horrible for everybody, the whole community.
Tragic, something tragic, and the storms are still coming.
Mother Nature simply wouldn't let wreckage dry in the southernmost and worst hit areas of the city, making Monday all the more difficult. Rescue dogs from Tulsa checked here, but didn't signal a body found.
I just hope they got out before, just hope they got out.
Whether you were digging Monday for what you own or someone you know, there were only brief moments people decided to pause in their search. Now, the good news out of the search and rescue is that they found 7 people today. They rescued, like we said, there's guaranteed search, but not guaranteed rescue. They rescued 7 people today, Laura.
All right, Cliff, thank you for that. And this is what's been happening all day long. It'll clear up a little bit and then it'll rain, and it rains hard, and there's lightning and thunder. And this is already happening to 50,000 residents who literally are just walking around wondering what in the world can they salvage. Some homes are literally gone. There's not a thing left. Johnny Rollins, you flew above Joplin yesterday. And when I talked to you on the phone yesterday during our 6 o'clock news, you were very moved. You were emotional even about what you saw. And you've been doing this a long time.
I don't see any way that you could look at these pictures and not be emotional. And I have to tell you that approaching this, I thought, well, I've seen this before. I've seen damaged paths before. This was not a damaged path. This was a damaged swath. This wiped out almost a mile wide and 7-mile path, and homes totally destroyed. I never ever, when I came upon the scene, we were flying southbound, and I thought I was looking at where the damage was, and then I looked to my left to the east and saw this mile-wide path, and it just took my breath away. And also what takes your breath away is to think you've heard the video of those people who were in the convenience store and in the cooler, and how horrific it was for them. That scene replayed by thousands of people in Joplin yesterday as they endured this tornado as it went through. Again, unbelievable devastation, certainly something that I never expected to see, and one certainly I hope I never see again. Johnny Rollins, News Chopper 9, back to you.
And I echo that, Johnny. I was in Greensburg, and I tell you that you don't want to see this again, because people have just lost everything. And what is even more disturbing and of concern is the fact that it's not just material things that this tornado took away. It's people's lives. It's families that have been torn apart by Mother Nature, and that is a hard pill to swallow. It's hard to understand when you don't have a thing left and you've lost a loved one. So a lot of emotion going on in Joplin, that is to be sure. Now, there are also a lot of volunteers, lots of big hearts coming into Joplin tonight, and Michelle Rooney talked to some of those volunteers today. Michelle?
Well, that's right, Laura. We have been talking to volunteers and also people who are just showing up here on the scene to look for loved ones. You can see here right behind us where we are by St. John's Hospital, Kansas City, Missouri Police Department. Now, we're told that a big part of their responsibility out here all day today and throughout the night will be perimeter security for the hospital, making sure that nobody comes inside because of all the equipment that is inside and also because of all the medical supplies that are inside. And we have seen just dozens of rescuers from our area. But another thing that struck us when we were here on the scene is the line of traffic that is here along East 26th Street, and everybody here looking for loved ones, looking for things, trying to find people and trying to figure out exactly what all happened here. On 26th Street behind St. John's Hospital, there is a steady stream of traffic, cars bumper to bumper, crawling by. Inside each one of them, a story. Some brought little ones out to show them the force of nature.
I was out driving earlier and I wanted to show the kids the devastation.
Others came here after losing their home.
My house is wrecked, so today I'm just trying to get in and get out the family heirlooms, things like that, and just take it from there.
Still others lost so much more. Emergency crews told this woman they found her brother dead.
His girlfriend was in the bathtub and she was trying to get him in the bathtub, and he loved them dogs so much that he wanted them dogs in the bathtub, and he didn't make it. Came too fast.
That woman who was here on the scene looking for her brother's pets, she did not find them. They left a short time ago. They say they will be out here to search again. We did also talk, as we told you, to some local volunteers and also to some Kansas City, Missouri police officers. Now, they sent 2 TAC squads down here to help with search and rescue. They also sent a traffic unit to do the obvious, which is very needed as well because so many stoplights are still out around the area. And they also sent a team to try to help.
Okay, so that was Michelle Rooney talking about all of the volunteers, including members of the Kansas City Fire Department and the Kansas City Police Department tonight. Now, with modern technology, a lot of people who were swept up in last night's tornado kept their cell phones going, and we want to play for you this incredible cell phone video. You can't see the faces in this cell phone video, but you can hear the people praying. They are praying while seeking shelter inside a cooler inside a convenience store. Take a listen.
We're good. We're good. I think we're gonna do it. man. Yeah, I love all you guys. We're gonna be okay. I love you.
Jesus. Heavenly Father.
Thank you. That's all okay. Yes.
Lots of prayers answered with those people inside that cooler in a convenience store. Chris Katz was out and about earlier today, too, and he talked to people who basically rode out the storm.
Hank Knoll is like so many people in Joplin, Missouri this Monday, looking to see what's left after all of this.
First time in my life I've ever thought I'm probably going to die. Only time I've ever thought that.
He didn't lose a house, he lost a car, but he could have lost his life, all because of where he parked that car. He was at a friend's house for the afternoon. He heard the weather was coming, so he left his friend's house, tried to make it back to his car. Then all of a sudden the storm hit, so he chose to ride it out inside St. John's Medical Center. What did that sound like?
Exactly like they say it does, freight train.
So as the medical center's roof was coming apart and windows were blown out, Knoll and others found safety in restrooms on the first floor or under tables. He is alive, but almost as amazing is how far his car flew in this storm. Would it have been beyond those vehicles where they're piled up?
Yeah.
So it was beyond there, it was blown all the way there.
Yeah.
And looking at what was left, it took a while for Knoll to realize this was his.
The only thing the only reason I know it's mine is because there's a paper clip that I had clipped onto the back of my seat.
And you can still see it?
Yeah.
He considers himself one of the lucky ones. True, he lost a car, his friend lost a house, but they're both okay. And that's really saying something, seeing all of this. Chris Katz, KMBC 9 News, Joplin.
Chris, thank you very much. The rain, the lightning now moving in once again in Joplin. Our live coverage has been interrupted. We will get back to it in just a little bit. Meantime, the destruction really is devastating to look at. Unbelievable in Joplin tonight. And viewers have been contacting the KMBC 9 newsroom all day long trying to find out what they can do to help. So we've been working with the Red Cross setting up a phone bank. KMBC 9's Kelly Ackerman is live with help from the Heartland. Kelly?
Larry, I'm live at the H&R Block Call Center, and behind me are a lot of volunteers who are donating their time tonight to take your calls and donations to help all those victims of the tornado in Joplin. Many of you have been calling asking how you can help. This is how you can help. 855-230-2150. Also, many local businesses have been stepping up as well and wanting to help. And right now I want to introduce you to Nancy Pagel. Nancy?
Hi, Kelly. Thanks for having us. I'd like to present $5,000 to the Red Cross on behalf of the local Hy-Vee stores. We also have 5 or 4 semi-trucks full of water headed to Joplin right now.
All right, thank you, Hy-Vee. Thank you, Nancy Pagel. Now again, many businesses are stepping up. They want to help. This is one way that businesses are helping. You can help as well, and that's why we've set up this phone bank so that you have a way that you can somehow step up and help these victims in Joplin. You've seen the devastation there. You know how much help they're going to need. This money goes to the Red Cross, 855-230-2150. You can also text Red Cross to 90999 and make a $10 donation that way. We will be here until 10:30 tonight taking your calls. Larry?
Kelly, thank you very much. So many generous people helping out. There's that toll-free number again, 855-230-2150, and we thank you for helping out. Well, the threat of severe storms not over yet in Joplin or in other parts of the Midwest right now. Brian joins us now with a look at more storms ahead.
Unfortunately so. This is a very sluggish, slow-moving system, so it's going to continue to affect the same areas over and over again. And this is part of the reason why we've lost that signal down toward Joplin. Let me zoom it down using Storm View Doppler radar. We have the lightning turned on, and you can see that it looks like another cell is pretty close to Joplin itself. I'm going to zoom it back out here so you can see there is more on the way. Looks like some of this is heading from Columbus to Carl Junction, a little farther to the north. But as we go down toward Oklahoma, these are several cells that will continue to move toward that region. And that's why the red light's still out for them. The greatest risk of severe weather continues over southwestern Missouri, probably even after 8 p.m. and closer to midnight. And the trouble is, this is the same storm system that'll be close enough to us to move that entire severe weather threat closer to you. We'll explain exactly how long that's going to last in our timeline in just a little bit. Larry, back over to you.
Thank you, Brian. The search for survivors in Joplin continues tonight. Coming up, a look at how crews search through the rubble and continuing coverage live from Joplin. A Kansas State search and rescue team are on alert this evening. They may be sent to Joplin to help find victims of the storm. KMBC 9's Michael Mahoney joins us live. Michael?
Larry, that alert went out this afternoon, and at first they were getting ready to head right out to southwest Missouri. Now they are on standby alert. So we asked Olathe Fire Captain Bill Snyder to show us how they are going to search through the rubble when they get there.
This is our search camera, and this is what we're going to use if we have a hit from a dog or we get a sound inside the rubble pile. For demonstration here, I have a 2-inch hole in our wall that we can come through here. And if I can't see him all the way, I can rotate this and start getting a perspective of where he's at. And we can start making a plan for breaching through this wall and start extricating this patient.
Now, Snyder also says they have a talkback component on that device where they can talk to somebody that's trapped in the rubble, calm them, and assure them that help is on the way. And they, as we're saying, standing by, prepared to go to Joplin. We're live. Back to you.
Michael Mahoney, thank you very much. The supervisors of the Joplin cleanup say don't come into the area to try to help without being invited. Things are tough enough there as it is right now. The response to Joplin is highly coordinated, and that goes for emergency responders as well as hospitals. KMBC 9's Peggy Bright is live with that part of the story tonight. Peggy.
Well, Larry, Children's Mercy here has already gotten 6 children in from the Joplin area. KU Hospital has also gotten patients. The KU emergency room has had 2 patients come in so far, one with a broken hip, another with a broken leg, but they're prepared for many more. In fact, there's a computer system for coordinating the number of beds area hospitals have available. The 2 that came to KU Hospital were first seen at the Joplin Hospital, which was not damaged.
These were patients that were seen at Freeman Hospital down there, and our goal was to take, they needed to move some of the patients that were more critical to facilities that can handle that so they could continue to take in the influx of patients that they're receiving. And so that's what we got.
How are they doing? No word yet on the extent of the injuries here at Children's Mercy. We're live at the hospital. Back to you in the studio, Larry.
Peggy Bright, thank you very much. Hospitals throughout Missouri, Oklahoma, and Kansas have all offered their help to tornado victims in Joplin. Just a devastating scene in Joplin, and you're talking about more storms in that area and in our area.
Yeah, that's the problem. This is the same storm system that was overhead that in an indirect way spawned all the heavy weather we had in our viewing region as early as Saturday, yesterday. Now today, it's just to the southwest of us, and it will encroach even closer and closer to us. Let me show you Storm View Doppler radar to get things started, and it does primarily show a good area of thunderstorm activity. Once again, a lot of that with lightning, so that's part of the reason why the live coverage from down in Joplin had to at least be contained for a little bit. Because of this is starting to move in from the west and southwest, heavier cells that are really starting to inundate a good portion of southwestern Missouri. The good news is the fact no tornado warnings from these, no damaging winds or damaging hail, but still lightning too dangerous for us to get that signal out. Here's Coffeyville, Kansas. So to get your bearings, this is going to be the state line between Kansas and Oklahoma, just to the west of Bartlesville. Some more thunderstorms that are popping up, and it looks like this is going to be the area more concerned for thunderstorms that could produce severe weather tonight. The trouble is we move that farther to the east, and as you're going to see in just one second with the updated outline from the Storm Prediction Center, we're probably going to be right into the middle of it. So closer to home, we're in and out of cloud cover. We're going to keep monitoring southeastern portions of Kansas for the increasing chance of some rain showers and thunderstorms for us. So here is the setup into Tuesday. We're going to have the powerful low pressure area, a stationary front, a focusing mechanism, if you will. So the thunderstorms are going to be developing ahead of that. And also, let me emphasize, it's going to be very humid. It's going to be very warm. So muggy conditions ahead. The exact energy that gets this engine going to get these thunderstorms growing and maturing and developing pretty much right on our back doorstep, which is why we have that threat of severe weather closer to home. 81 degrees right now with a northwest wind at about 3 miles per hour. So let's talk about that severe weather risk since we're already heat and humid bound right now. Looks like the greatest risk, at least for this evening, farther to the southwest where you saw those starting to develop. But as that system moves closer to us, that severe weather risk comes toward Kansas City. So here's what we're expecting, at least in the short term. Thunderstorms that will be around 2 rounds of them, 3 a.m. to 9 a.m. and then another chance 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. And if we are going to talk about tornadic threat, it looks like the best window will be happening right about that time on the secondary half of, say, the event itself. Interactive radar will be available in case the power goes out. You can certainly access it using your smartphone in case of power outages. Also, don't forget about weather call itself as well. Another way that you are only updated when your location is in the path of a storm. This is your 7-day forecast. 64 to 80 degrees on Tuesday, 72 on Wednesday with partly cloudy conditions. We dry out finally as the storm system picks up its stakes and moves out goodbye, good riddance. Another chance of showers and thunderstorms on Saturday. Right now, a 40% chance of that happening, but we're still more concerned about getting through tomorrow as well as Wednesday. I think the better chances for the severe and violent weather closer to home will be coming in tomorrow, Larry. So that's something we're definitely going to have to watch, because we cannot rule out the possibility of tornadoes closer to Kansas City.
All right, Brian, and all of us pay attention to it. Thank you, Brian. Well, the devastation certainly widespread in Joplin tonight after a massive tornado wipes out 2/3 of the town, killing 116 people. Coming up next, how you can help.
I'm Kelly Eckerman, live at the H&R Block Call Center. We've teamed up here with the Red Cross to take your calls and donations, and the volunteers continue to take your calls at this hour. Kansas City has always been a generous community, and that includes our business community. Joining me now is Marty Dahmer.
Hi. We'd like to donate $20,000 to the efforts in Joplin on behalf of Cable Dahmer Chevrolet.
All right, thank you very much, Marty. And again, more and more businesses are stepping up wanting to help this effort, but we know you at home would also like an opportunity to help the victims in Joplin. The number to call, 855-230-2150. We're going to be taking your calls here until 10:30 tonight. You can also send a text message, text Red Cross to 90999. That will bring a $10 donation to help those victims in Joplin, or you can just go to KMBC.com, and we've made it easy for you to make a donation there. Back to you.
I'm Laura Moritz in Joplin, Missouri, where the tornado-ravaged city of 50,000 residents are still reeling tonight of what happened last night. Winds of 198 miles per hour. I've been in and around the neighborhoods that have been hit the hardest. 116 people died in yesterday's tornado. 500 people are injured. One person was rescued from a Home Depot earlier today. And the emotion that is so heavy, and the heavy hearts in the people that we've talked to today, it leaves a lump in our throats as a news crew here. I have covered many, many tornadoes, the aftermath of tornadoes in my career, and this one certainly is the worst that I have seen. Cars tossed like toys, houses just completely swept away. In fact, foundations that are literally look like they've been freshly poured, because everything that used to be on top of it is just gone. Blown to bits, and trees stripped. Trees that are probably 100 years old have been uprooted, right toppled over with the earth. Just unbelievable pictures. Overwhelming, to be frank. It's an overwhelming situation. We are unable to go live from our live truck because, again, on top of everything else that happened yesterday, the weather has just been really horrendous today, and it is pouring, and we're having a thunderstorm right now, and hopefully some of this will move out of the area so residents can go back to trying to salvage what they can, if anything, after yesterday's tornado. Larry, back to you.
Laura, so much death, so much devastation. And we are hearing amazing stories of people who jumped in to help victims in yesterday's tornado. A local doctor who was riding his motorcycle to Texas stopped an hour north of Joplin to wait out the storm. He then rode to Joplin to see what he could do, and this is cell phone video that he took as he was running up to the hospital. He also took several pictures. Dr. Rod Lyles, he joins us live on the phone right now. Dr. Lyles, describe, if you would, for us the scene as you ran up to the hospital.
Hi, Larry. I went from the highway directly to the hospital, where I felt I could be the most assistance. But as I pulled into the parking lot of St. John's, all the windows were blown out. The cars were stacked on each other in the parking lot, and they were moving patients out of St. John's at the time. And then by the time, just hours later, St. John's is totally quiet, particularly later that night. The scene, I think, as your reporter was describing, as really overwhelming. You just had to be there to feel what it's really like, despite photos and descriptions, etc. And St. John's, the whole campus is pretty much a ghost town right now.
Wow, so unbelievable. What were the injuries that you were seeing?
I went on over to Freeman Hospital because St. John's was closing down, And you name it, as you go through the hallway, you name it, it was there. The severely injured and the ones that are injured even more than that. Multiple lacerations, cuts and bruises. People were extremely calm. Physicians, all the medical staff, and particularly the patients who were just standing around, somewhat in a daze also, but extremely calm and all sorts of multiple injuries.
Wow. So good that you were able to help. What are your plans now?
Well, you know, I was riding south to my brother-in-law's place. We were going to ride the hill country in Austin, but I'm not sure I'm going to make it. I got to where I am now about 5 o'clock this morning and taking a break, and I don't know if I'll go any further south or not. But no, I was hopefully helpful, but believe me, it was just a little bitty drop in the bucket compared to the devastation and the injuries that were there.
Just tremendous. Dr. Rodney Lyles, thank you very much for joining us and sharing your experience, and thank you for helping out in Joplin as well. Well, many of you watching tonight might be wondering how to help those in Joplin. Here's one way. KMBC 9 has teamed up with the Red Cross. We're taking calls right now from those who may want to make a monetary donation, and Kelly Eckerman is live from the H&R Block call center in Kansas City. Kelly, are those phones ringing?
They are ringing, and in fact, photographer Brett Ellie and I have been walking around, and we've been hearing many of the phone calls coming into the call center here, and people are calling from all over Kansas, from all over Missouri, and people are being very generous. But in addition, it's interesting to hear that some of these calls are coming from other communities that have been hit by storms and tornadoes, and they're also recovering, and they're still making donations tonight. That last check, the donation total was $44,000, but we have just received a notification from Sprint. Sprint is donating $100,000 to this effort to help the victims of the Joplin tornado. So again, you at home are being so generous, so is the local business community. So we want to thank everyone who is taking part, who is thinking of these victims tonight. All you have to do is pick up the phone and call 855-230-2150 to make a pledge. It's also as simple as texting the Red Cross. You can just text Red Cross to 90999. That will lead to a $10 donation for the Red Cross to help the victims. Or you can just go to KMBC.com. We've made it easy, set it up there so that you can make a donation that way as well. Again, we're here with these volunteers until 10:30 tonight, taking your calls and donations. Thanks, Kansas City.
Kelly, thank you very much. And one of the top stories on our website today has been, how can we help the people in Joplin? There are other ways you can help as well, and we'll have those for you too, because the Red Cross is taking blood donations as well. And we posted times and locations on our website, and those who want to give their time and manpower need to register first. In particular, relief workers are looking for those with medical skills. We posted that information on our site as well, KMBC.com. The hospital in Joplin, as you know by now, took a direct hit, and tonight patients are being flown here to Kansas City for treatment. We're live with the latest number of children being treated at Children's Mercy.